So, welcome to Tuesday meditation. Tuesday, getting rid of any tension. So, make sure that you're sitting comfortably, spine straight but not rigid. And in order to release any tension in the body, we're going to scan the body, starting at the top of the head. Just being aware of the top of your head. And then moving down over the forehead, becoming aware of the temples, moving down over the eyebrows, all the little muscles around the eyes. Just checking if there's any areas of tension. And if we come across these, simply imagining that as we breathe out, the tension leaves the body with the breath. And remember, we're not trying to control the breath or force the breath in any way. But as we breathe out, have a sense of relaxing and letting go. Some little muscles around the eyes. Just relax and soften. Soften the eyes themselves. A soft gaze, as if you're daydreaming. Moving down over cheekbones. To the mouth. Relaxing again. Muscles around the mouth. Soft, at ease. Relaxing your jaws. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. As I often say, when we concentrate without realizing it, we often clench our jaws. Resting your tongue behind your top teeth and having your mouth very slightly open counters clenching your jaw. Again, be aware of the fact that when we concentrate, we often tense up. So do this exercise in a very relaxed manner if you're able. Don't think, oh, I have to relax and tense up. So coming gently back to the top of the head, the crown of the head, and moving down the back of the head to the base of the skull. Often a tension hotspot. So just checking, relaxing with the out breath, releasing. Relaxing your throat, your neck. Coming to the tops of your shoulders, being aware of any tension there. And as we usually do, just lifting the shoulders up and dropping them 3 times. Helping that process of relaxation. Keeping the shoulders slightly back. Be aware of any tension in the shoulder blades. Allow gravity and the out breath to help with the process of relaxation. Letting go. Then moving down the spine, from the top of the spine to the base of the spine. Be aware of the contact with the chair, between the chair or the cushion and your buttocks. Feel the stability and strength of the spine. Come back to the top of the shoulders and move down the front of the body. Having a sense of softness, openness. Top of the chest, diaphragm, belly, relaxed and still. Again, checking the shoulders. Probably the most common tension point for all of us. And then moving down the shoulders to the elbows. Elbows to the wrists. Wrists to the hands. The backs of the hands and the palms of the hands. If you're sitting with your right hand supported by your left hand, be aware of the contact between the hands. Feel the thumbs lightly touching. Be aware of the contact with your left hand with your lap. Or if you have your hands palm down on your knees, again, be aware of the contact. Be aware of your fingers. Go all the way to the fingertips. Coming to the hip joint. Moving down to the knees, ankles, feet, tops of the feet, soles of the feet, and your toes. And now be aware of the whole body. Tips of your toes to the top of your head. Breathe normally and naturally. And taking a few moments to enjoy the feeling of your body completely at ease. Stable, supported, and safe. The whole body. Relaxed. Be aware of the mind-body connection. How in settling and calming the body, the mind also relaxes. Enjoy the peace and stillness. So before we move on to our breathing meditation, we're going to set a very positive motivation, as always, for being here this evening and engaging in the meditation. We're going to open our hearts and think that I'm doing this meditation not only for myself, but for the benefit of all beings that I come into contact with. And I'm sure you're all aware of how to do the breathing meditation. But basically, our task for the whole of the breathing meditation, which is often called shamatha, single-pointed concentration, this can be developed with the breath, it can be developed with a pebble, it can be developed in many ways, but the most common method of developing shamatha is to focus on the breath. So we can focus on the breath entering and leaving the nostrils, or we can focus on the rise and the fall of the abdomen. So the idea is to keep the awareness with the breath. So it's if the breath is a horse and the awareness is the rider. We really don't want the two to be separated. If you choose to focus on the breath entering and leaving the nostrils, stay with that for the whole of the breathing meditation. If you choose to focus on the rise and the fall of the abdomen, again, stay with that for the whole of the meditation. Don't swap back and forth. If you want to try out these two different points of focus, perhaps one time you can use the focus at the nostrils, and another time you can use the focus on the rise and the fall of the abdomen. And the three important points are to be relaxed, to be still, and to be vigilant, in the sense that there's a part of your mind that is vigilant, that is watching and notices when the mind wanders, and again brings the mind back to focus on the breath. So just check your posture. Make sure your spine is straight but not rigid. Chin tucked in a little bit. Gaze falling softly to the floor in front of you. Eyelids lowered and eyes slightly open, if you can manage that. So off we go. Bring the awareness to the breath. The whole of the in-breath and the whole of the out-breath. So remembering the three important points when you're doing your breathing meditation, you need to be relaxed and still and vigilant. And although we try to be still for the whole of the meditation, that doesn't mean that you don't adjust your posture. If you notice that you've slumped or you're leaning to one side, just gently adjust your posture. A sharpness, an awareness, very bright awareness. So then we come up with R, S, V, and P. Once you're relaxed and you're still and you're vigilant and you're ready to practice again and again, bringing the awareness back to the breath. have a little stretch. You too. A little sip of your drink. And we're going to move on to do a meditation on patience. And this is quite a traditional meditation coming from the Tibetan tradition. And let's just have a little look at what patience means. So patience is having an undisturbed mind, even while encountering problems or while being harmed by people. We need to be able to keep our patience, our peace of mind, and not lose our love and compassion for others. Once the conditions for a harmful intent, the seed of habituation in the mind, closeness to the object, and wrong conceptualization are complete, harmful intent will arise whether we want it or not. At present, we are subconsciously conditioned to regard anger as something beneficial. Therefore, we have a willingness to become angry. To overcome this conditioning, we need to think very deeply about the faults of becoming angry and the benefits of practicing patience. So we're going to begin by visualizing in front of you, in front of us, the Buddha Chenrezig. So I don't know if you're all familiar with Chenrezig, but I have a little statue here that will give you some kind of an indication. I'm just trying to see how we can best show it on the screen. I hope that helps a little bit. So we see how we go. In the space in front of you, visualize Chenrezig, who is one with your guru or your teacher. Chenrezig embodies the compassion of all the Buddhas and manifests as a youthful deity, white in color and seated on a lotus. His body is adorned with fine jewels and garments. Between two hands he holds a jewel at his heart, and two other hands hold a rosary and a lotus. Then request from the depths of your heart, please bless my mind stream that I may be able to generate the perfection of patience and completely abandon anger. So imagine that you're making this request to the Buddha Chenrezig. He's a little bit heavy. Actual Chenrezig is made of light and translucent and radiant and alive. So visualize that when you make this request, white light flows down from Chenrezig and purifies your mind-body continuum of all obscurations. And then visualize that all the realizations coming from Chenrezig flow down in the form of orange light that completely fill your body. And now we're going to contemplate the benefits of patience. If I have the cool stream of patience that pacifies the fires of anger, I won't suffer from losing my mental happiness. I will have fewer enemies and less interferences in the future. I will experience happiness in this life, close the door to lower rebirths, and experience the happiness of higher rebirths and eventually liberation. At the time of death, I will die without regrets. If I am reborn as a human, I will have an attractive form. The Bodhisattva Shantideva said, and in fact that's Shantideva behind me in the tanka, whoever abandons anger will be happy in this and future lives. Then contemplate the disadvantages of anger. There is no negative emotion as destructive as anger. The Buddha taught that one instant of anger has many negative results. So anger is defined as having a wish to harm, but it can start off as a very simple irritation, aggravation, and it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. Not only does anger create negative karma that will ripen as suffering, it also destroys positive states of mind that have been already generated, and it can prevent the generation and abiding of future positive states of mind. Contemplate the following points to gain a clear understanding of this. This point that anger is such a great disadvantage in our lives. There are some aspects of anger that I can see. When my mind is poisoned by anger, I cannot experience peace. Existing joy and happiness are destroyed and difficult to gain again. Mental stability arising from equanimity is also destroyed. It robs me of my sleep and harms my health. The great Asanga said, the arousal of anger gives pain in the heart. Having a stressed and unhappy mind is one of the main conditions for anger to arise. Therefore, at all times, I should preserve my mental equanimity and happiness. Shantideva advised us, if I can do something about my problem, then there is no benefit in getting upset. If I can do nothing about my problem, then there is also no point in getting upset. Therefore, I also need to contemplate the main unseen aspects of anger. It destroys the positive merits I have accumulated. by engaging in virtuous actions. It delays my progress along the path. Each moment of anger, if it's not purified, can result in spending a very long time in the hell realms. If I'm continually angry when I'm reborn human, I may have a very ugly form. Every single time I get angry, it leaves a karmic imprint on my mind stream, which reinforces and increases my mental pattern of anger, thereby ensuring that I have to experience all the suffering and results of anger again and again and again. Contemplate the patience of not letting yourself be affected by harm. Bodhisattvas who are harmed think, this poor person is under the control of the demon of anger. So I shouldn't get angry, but feel compassion because this person is suffering. I should help this person, not harm them. Someone under the influence of anger is like a person under the influence of alcohol. She has no control over her actions. Once the conditions for harmful intent are complete, it will arise, whether she wants it or not. And she is compelled to engage in a harmful action that inflicts suffering on others. Recall a time when somebody said something disagreeable or insulting, and analyze if any harm was actually received. Think about what harmed me. How was I harmed? Aren't the insulting words merely sounds traveling from the mouth of the other person to my ear and then registered in my mind? Has any harm really been received? No, this harm is completely my own mental fabrication. It does not even exist conventionally. In fact, it is completely non-existent, just like the horns of a rabbit. This is moving into emptiness. As I said, very traditional meditation here. So then we can meditate on happiness by thinking, how great, I have not been harmed. I still have Buddha nature, the potential to achieve Buddhahood and benefit countless sentient beings, just as the Buddha did. The intrinsic nature of my mind is still clear light, completely pure and unstained. Since this being did not harm me, there is no basis for my anger. The only thing that can really harm me is my own anger. My antagonists should actually be objects of my compassion, since they are tormented by disturbing thoughts and emotions, and they create negative karma in dependence on me. They are showing me the need to practice more, to act like a bodhisattva, and to become a Buddha to truly help others. Contemplate the following points to develop the patience of being able to bear difficulties. If if I see only the negative side of antagonists and problems, I will be overwhelmed. I must see the beneficial side of experiencing problems. Problems and hardships are very kind to me. They can teach me to avoid non-virtue if I want to avoid the same suffering in the future. Teach me to practice virtue if I want to experience happiness and a happy rebirth. Cause me to generate renunciation and thereby lead me to liberation. Teach me about the suffering of others and through this to generate compassion and bodhicitta. These things will lead me to enlightenment. So this doesn't mean, and practicing patience doesn't mean that we become doormats. If somebody, is beating us, we don't just say, this is my karma, I'm going to practice patience. That's not what patience is about. It's training the mind not to relate, to react in anger. As I said, this is very, very traditional meditation this evening, and for some people might be a little bit more study on the teachings of the Buddha in relation to patience would be very helpful. Otherwise, it can be misunderstood. If we see somebody harming another person or an animal, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do something to try and stop the harm. It's more about working with our minds, our own minds, in relation to when we are harmed, and understanding that the person harming us is not actually in control, that they are controlled by their own delusions, which doesn't make the negative action okay. So please don't misunderstand this point. So let's finish off by dedicating the positive energy that we've created by meditating this evening. Let's dedicate that to the happiness and well-being of everybody on this planet, and with very strong prayers that the virus has, may it finish quickly, may it be running its course, and may it finish very, very soon. And please all stay well and safe. Look after yourselves, look after one another, and thank you for joining me this evening. All the best.